Wilkie & Sons. We produce industrial centrifugal pumps, varying in sizes, kind of chemical production as well as slurry. And I was just going to kind of show you some real quick kind of before and after, and then hopefully kind of show you some examples of kind of what we're doing now. So it won't take too long. So the challenge, I joined the marketing department about 2 years ago, and I basically became the marketing department. So it was a matter of finding old material that we used to have, contacting engineering for documents, and there was really no solid base to start from. So we started, kind of one of my first tasks when I joined was creating manuals, sales brochures, and down the road animations for 2 new products that we were releasing. And the way that that worked when I got there was every time that I needed to have an image for any of that, I'd have to contact engineering. I'd have to explain to them over the phone what I want, kind of the angle that I was looking for, and what parts I wanted in there, and colors. And then, a day or 2 later, I would get a JPEG of that through email that more times than not was not what I wanted. So then I'd have to call engineering again, talk to them, explain what was different about it, what our sales guys didn't like about it, then they'd rework it, and I quickly became kind of the most hated guy at engineering. I hated answering my phone calls. So it actually got to the point where I ended up photoshopping a lot of the stuff myself to kind of make the edits, where it would have been easier to actually jump on, and do it natively. So I got the right thing from the start. And as I said at the beginning, I'm not an engineer. I have no SolidWorks experience. So that's something I didn't have the option to do anyway. So we got 3DVIA approached us, and we decided to take a chance with it. And immediately I was able to change views, change colors, change the parts that I want in there all myself, export it the way I wanted it, show the sales guys, have them prove it, and then make changes and work on it all from there, which made things definitely a lot easier. Also, well, it's kind of beside the point, but our production plant in engineering is downtown, and our sales office is in the tech center, so that also adds to it. So when you're driving back and forth and having meetings, it really became just a huge waste of time. So once we got 3DVIA up and running, well, here's kind of some before. So this is what was in the IOMs before, kind of what they were just speaking about. Poor quality vector, some bad photos with the time still kind of at the bottom there. And now we come out with, on the left is an animation for the assembly of one of our new product lines. And on the right is kind of some vector art that we're creating for another new product that's coming out. And these were created completely in 3DVIA. Let's see. So now I have complete control over what I'm doing. I can get, I don't actually have access to our SolidWorks vault. That's just kind of how our company works. But if I need an assembly or if I need a part, I will just email our engineering department. They throw it on our network in a matter of seconds. I can immediately import that right into 3DVIA and start using it, which is pretty cool. And they're also talking about when you update parts and change things. I just, actually the other month, we created an assembly animation. I got told that one of the parts got re-engineered to work, because they found an error with it. So it gets re-engineered, and rather than starting from scratch, I was able to just open up that animation I created 6 months ago, update that one specific part, change a couple, because the geometry changed, so I updated the animation a tiny bit, and within an hour I had a brand new updated animation. So it was a huge time saver when it comes to reworking and updating parts. We have this product line, we started everything, as they were saying, kind of right as the engineers were developing the product. So we were able to kind of start getting at least the brain start working and all the creative juices going, and start working on things. But now if something changes, if one of, any of this changes, we can just go right back into 3D Via, update it, and immediately output a new picture. Kind of what we're going to start working on soon is some more kind of interactive tools with 3D Via. Right now it's mostly just YouTube videos for our customers and the ILM. So we really want to start really getting into more interactive use online and with our sales guys. We're starting to really get up to date with our assembly animations. Before 3D Via, it was either a video of someone actually assembling the pump with voiceover, or it was fairly poor quality animations that we had to outsource to India to get, and they would actually completely read, because they didn't have access to our SolidWorks, so they had to completely remodel everything, and so that was a complete nightmare. So since then, having to be able to do everything in-house is a huge advantage. So let me just go through kind of some examples of how to get out of here. Yeah, some examples of how we've used it. Any questions first?
Can you talk about the interactive iPad content?
That's something we still haven't quite gotten to yet, and that's the problem with being the marketing department is it's hard to kind of get everything done, but it's definitely on the list of things that we want to get to.
I'd be happy to talk a little bit later about what
I was going to ask, what's the value of doing that?
Of doing what, sorry?
Being able to export to iPads is interactive?
Right now, what we do is we have all of our videos available. We have all of our sales guys have iPads now, and we have all of our videos that we've developed accessible right there on the iPad, so that when he's in front of the customer, he can just pull it up and play the videos.
It becomes his book or his catalog or something.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
apparently we've lost internet connection. Tech libraries?
Yeah, I can actually, yeah.
I think we have internet connection again, so.
So we just kind of redid our website recently, which was good timing because now we can use 3D Via with it. I'm just going to show real quickly, the flash animation on the front screen was based, all the images were done with 3D Via, which I think turned out, we're kind of having a new upgrade process, kind of get our old products upgraded with the newer components. Let's see if it loads. This is kind of an example of a video we created to show, it's basically showing kind of what, in an old pump, this is our K pump line, we now have a K Pro. And so this shows what components can be used again and what we can just swap out for the new parts. So this was all created in 3D Via. We show the new parts coming in a second. Then we can even just cut the pump, and then now we start talking about all the new features of the new components. And that was really easy to do. That was, an afternoon of work. So it is that easy just to get, especially with the website, it's that easy just to get stuff online for customers to start to see. So that's kind of an example of how we're using it in more of our kind of sales work. And then we've also started creating assembly animations for most of our new product lines.
What's the route file extension on the video?
On the,
Is it an API or what you just showed?
I put it, it's, when it's all said and done, it's MP4, the iPad.
You can pretty much convert to any video format you'd like to use.
So we have, I'll show you another,
Still need the originals, kind of what you were doing before.
yeah, this is, this is an old one from, this was created in India for us.
What would that cost you guys?
You know, I don't know, because it was before my time, but I can't imagine it was cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of the old, and this is kind of the same idea of an animation. It's trying to show kind of how, basically how the pump works at a very high level. So now we're able to, we can show water or fluid in there. We have arrows showing which way the fluid's moving. The impeller's spinning for us. All the other parts are spinning at the same time. We can zoom in, change the arrows. And then I think we can go to another view. So it's just very easy to, it's very easy to create this too. It took me a couple of weeks, or it took me a couple of days to kind of get the grasp of the basics, and then as I started working with it, it really just, it's pretty intuitive, and you really start figuring things out pretty quickly. So that's kind of, that's an example of another more sales video, show the customer how it works.
So how long would that take you now that you're, well versed?
Couple days. Yeah. And then I'll show a quick animation of, let's see. So this is what we're using as an assembly guide for our customers. Internally, we only have really 3 guys that do assembly, and they've been doing it for years, so they would know more than this could show you anyway, so it's not really used internally. But we've had a lot of good customer feedback. And this is actually the animation I was speaking about, that we changed a part, so it's pretty easy just to go back in, update the geometry, and then just save it again. This just kind of keeps on moving. Let's see. So this is kind of further down the road. And what we were able to do is, rather than have all the parts kind of ready and out, we only have parts come up as they're needed, so the seat can be nice and close in on the assembly without getting too cluttered up. So that's an example of kind of some of the stuff we've done. I don't know if you guys want to see anything else, or if you remember anything from last time that you'd like to see.
No, I think if there's any other questions, I think this is a great opportunity to get a you know, input from someone that's been there and done this before, so.
How long did it take you to feel like you had learned enough about 3D VIA to be really good with it?
I'd say my first project, so kind of, and then each project from there you kind of learn a new trick, but really once I was done with the first project, I felt comfortable with more complex and doing more stuff.
So how many days did that take?
It's, within a week, I was comfortable with it. Yeah.
Can you put any of those animations into a PDF?
That's something we haven't done yet.
Okay.
We have, let's see what else. I think I have an example of something.
Is there a certain reader, a PDF, an Adobe reader that's required for people to be able to read?
No, it's basically regular Adobe, and then there's a plugin that it'll automatically go download from Adobe when you have a 3D PDF.
So if you burn that on a CD, you just have to plug in there already with it?
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
They have the ability to distribute it, however, if it's on a CD with it.
Okay.
I think we just lost it.
Yes. I've been finding I have to disconnect and reconnect.
But there is some, we did kind of start with a, kind of somewhat of an interactive build material online that you hover over the part name and the part number, and it'll highlight that part on the screen for you. Hopefully we can get up here. And what we're working on right now is having that as a PDF to be able to send to a customer. That the same functionality that'll highlight,
Yeah.
and we're getting pretty close with that. Hopefully I can show you.
Is that SVG?
Oh, yeah. It's up to you, because that doesn't work in Internet Explorer.
It doesn't work on Internet Explorer?
I don't think so. It's okay. So
Preferred browser, Explorer, is it?
Explorer is pretty much the universal browser we use
Right.
for most things.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's,
might
are
be
you using
our-
SVG?
yeah.
So you need the SVG plugin. I don't know that I have SVG plugin loaded on. So there's that's an Adobe plugin as well, and you have to have that loaded. It should automatically load it, but I don't know why it's not.
Yeah, it's weird. So what we're currently doing now is we have a flat PDF, and now what we're doing is going back so that if you mouse over a part name, or it'll highlight this and vice versa. So we're working on that right now, and we're actually almost done with it.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure I have.
I think like Chrome or something like that. Is this the same?
It's an example.
Okay, yeah, so this is the same idea. So you mouse over a part and it'll highlight and vice versa. So
If you
if
click
you're
on
here-
one of the assemblies, it goes to the next one. So just click on the tip.
Oh, the tip here?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is like what we're developing. So that's something that you can have this as a PDF too.
Right.
That seems like a pretty easy process as compared to the actual animation.
This is a very easy process. Absolutely. And I'm sure
This is start.
we'd be happy to, when we get into the demo, we'd be happy to show you more on how to create some of those things. But a lot of companies are starting to look at moving to interactive bill of materials, interactive assembly instructions. A lot of them start with the 2D, replacing what they currently do today, and using Composer to just improve their 2D content before they move to 3D. These guys really embraced 3D from the bat and started using that. I think more and more companies will do so in the future.
Any other questions? Yeah.
When you finish putting your assembly together and the animation, does it need to render out afterwards, or is it just play?
Do you want, sorry?
What 3D background do you have for motion design?
None.
Well, I'm wondering if you get the reflections and everything live, or if that needs to be rendered out?
You get them live. It doesn't have to calculate.
Yeah.
There's not additional calculation coming.
Any other questions? Okay, we'll take a 10-minute break, maybe 15 minutes while Brendan